It was early June when the Anderson family packed their bags for a long-awaited summer vacation. After months of stressful work schedules and city noise, the idea of a quiet week in the small lakeside town of Maple Ridge, Colorado, sounded perfect. The family, Laura Anderson, her husband Michael, and the teenage daughter Emily, had always loved road trips. But this time, Laura couldn't shake the strange feeling that something wasn't quite right. From the very beginning of the drive, Laura noticed small, unsettling things. Michael, usually talkative on trips, seemed distracted. His eyes stayed fixed on the road, his responses short and delayed. Emily, sitting in the back seat with her headphones on, didn't seem to notice anything unusual. The sky outside was painted orange and pink as they drove past fields and forests, but Laura couldn't enjoy it. Something about Michael's silence worried her. When they arrived at the Maple Lake Cabin Resort, Laura tried to brush off her unease. The cabin was cozy, built of polished wood and surrounded by tall pine trees. The lake shimmered just a few yards away, its calm surface reflecting the mountains beyond. Emily immediately ran off to take photos while Laura began unpacking the groceries. That evening, they sat on the porch watching the sun disappear behind the hills. Everything looked peaceful, yet Laura couldn't ignore the sense that Michael's mind was somewhere else. He kept checking his phone, smiling faintly at messages he didn't show her. "Is something wrong?" Laura finally asked, her tone careful but firm. Michael looked startled, then forced a laugh. "No, not at all. Just work stuff, you know how it is." But Laura didn't know. He had taken the whole week off. There shouldn't have been any work messages. Still, she chose not to press him that night. The next morning, things took a stranger turn. When Laura woke up, Michael was gone. His side of the bed was cold. She searched the cabin, calling his name softly. No answer. It wasn't until she stepped outside that she saw him standing by the lake, staring at the water as if hypnotized. "Michael," she called again. He turned around, blinking like he'd just come out of a trance. "I couldn't sleep," he said. "Thought I'd take a walk." Laura joined him, though something about the scene made her uneasy. The lake was so still it almost didn't look real. The air was thick and unusually quiet. No birds, no wind, no sounds at all. Later, Emily mentioned she had seen someone walking near the woods last night. "I thought it was Dad," she said. "But when I called him, he didn't answer." That evening, a thunderstorm rolled in suddenly, dark clouds covering the sky. Rain poured down, and the lights in the cabin flickered. As the family sat together playing cards by candlelight, they heard a knock at the door. Laura froze. They weren't expecting anyone. Michael slowly got up and opened it. A middle-aged man stood there, dripping wet. "Sorry to bother you," he said. "I'm from the cabin next door. Power's out all around. Mind if I borrow a flashlight?" Michael lent him one, and the man thanked them, but before leaving, he added something odd. "You folks just arrived, right? Be careful around the lake. Locals say strange things happen there sometimes." The door closed, and Laura felt a chill run down her spine. That night, Laura couldn't sleep. The rain had stopped, but the forest outside seemed alive with whispers and rustling leaves. Around midnight, she thought she heard someone walking outside the cabin again. She peeked through the curtains and saw Michael, again, standing by the lake. She grabbed a raincoat and went after him. "Michael, what are you doing out here?" He turned slowly, his face pale. "Laura, I heard someone calling my name from the water." She looked toward the lake. The surface rippled slightly, though there was no wind. "That's impossible," she said. "There's no one here." But deep inside, she wasn't sure. The next morning, Michael was feverish and quiet. He claimed he didn't remember leaving the cabin during the night. Laura wanted to leave early, but Emily insisted on staying just one more day. "It's so pretty here," she said. Laura agreed reluctantly, but her unease grew. She decided to speak to the resort manager, Mrs. Caldwell, a kind elderly woman who had lived in Maple Ridge all her life. When Laura mentioned the strange things around the lake, Mrs. Caldwell nodded knowingly. "That lake holds old stories," she said. "Decades ago, a man went missing there. Some say his spirit never left." Laura's blood ran cold. You mean people still see things? Mrs. Caldwell shrugged. Sometimes guests say they hear voices at night. But no one's ever been harmed. It's just the lake's way, I suppose. Laura returned to the cabin, determined to keep her family safe and calm. She didn't tell Michael or Emily what she had heard. That night, before bed, she locked all the doors and windows and made sure everyone was inside. But the peace didn't last long. Around 2 a.m., Laura woke to the sound of splashing water. She rushed to the window, and saw Michael waist-deep in the lake. Without thinking, she ran outside. The water was freezing, but she waded in and grabbed his arm. Michael, wake up, come back. He blinked rapidly, looking confused. Laura, what's happening? She pulled him back to shore, both shivering uncontrollably. Michael finally admitted, I don't know why I keep walking there. I just hear this faint whisper, calling me by name. Laura held his hands tightly. You're safe now. We're leaving tomorrow morning. The next day, they packed up and drove away from Maple Ridge. As the car rolled down the winding road, Laura looked back one last time. The lake shimmered peacefully in the morning light, almost as if nothing had ever happened. Michael's color returned over the next few days, and he seemed to remember less and less about what occurred. Emily posted her lake photos online, most of them breathtakingly beautiful. But one picture made Laura freeze. In the background, near the water's edge, there was a faint, shadowy figure standing in the mist. And none of them had been there when she took the photo.